Hey, what is up guys? Smoldor here, and this time I am doing a thoughts and review on Lords of the Fallen, the 2023 version, and I gotta say, for me personally, I absolutely love this game. It does have a lot of flaws, however, but I believe its strengths completely outshine the flaws. Now, a lot of people are going to be comparing to Lies of P, which came out shortly, just very shortly before this game released, and they are both Souls-like games. And you can go and watch my review and thoughts on Lies of P if you'd like. But this one I'm going to be focusing heavily on Lords of the Fallen. First off, I'm going to go ahead and just give a general overview. I actually think, as much as I love this game, and I love this game a lot, I'm probably only going to give this game like a 7.5 out of 10, maybe even only a 7 out of 10. Normally, my last few game reviews and stuff I've been doing, I've been breaking things down by categories and having, like giving everything a rating and stuff. I'm just going to kind of generally talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about the things that I actually think this game does not do very well, which is mostly with the camera, which, let's face it, all the Souls games have poor camera, but the camera in this game is exceptionally bad. The targeting, being really, really bad. The targeting has gotten me killed so many times in this game. There's many times where I'm trying to target the mob that's right in front of me, and it's either targeting a creature that's very far away, that's barely on the screen. It sometimes targets one of those lamp things that's killed the player that's on the ground somewhere. It's targeting that, and then it starts spamming the camera around, you know. Of course, it's like, well, then why don't you just, don't lock camera, There's instances where you want to lock on, there's instances where you don't want to lock on, so, I felt like Lies of P, to kind of compare a little bit, actually did a really, really good job at being able to customize how the targeting worked in the game. This game does not do that, and it's extremely frustrating. Just saying. Another thing I have to bring up is the performance. The performance of this game is not great. It's not bad, but it's not great. I originally had purchased the PS5 version because nowadays, as a personal thing, I like to play games on my PS5 over my PC if I can, especially if it's these type of games. I like hunting for trophies, and I wanted to do that. I was not getting great FPS throughout probably the first 7 hours that I played of the game. It felt like I was probably averaging around 45 to 60. There was instances where I probably was getting 60, maybe even a little bit above that. And this is on performance mode. But the majority of the time it was easily under 60 FPS, and it was pretty jarring when I was reaching areas where it was dipping probably sub 30. Minor spoiler, Skyrest Bridge, basically the hub of the game, the game's main hub. When you first enter that area, doesn't matter from where, when you first enter it, it gets super laggy. And then this will tie into the fact of so then I started playing the PC version. Everyone was saying the PC version was terrible with performance. For the most part, I was well over 100 FPS on max settings on everything. But there are instances where I was definitely getting really bad frames. Entering Skyrest Bridge is one of them. There's some other instances in the game as well where, for whatever reason, my FPS just plummets. Really don't know why. It's, it definitely takes you out of it. It's unfortunate. Luckily, I never really had it too bad in any, key moments of, no boss fights or anything where it was, I really needed to be precise with things. But it still sucked. Absolutely sucked. As far as other things go that could have been done better, navigating the menu, I feel like they could have did a little bit more quality of life with armor. I don't like that armor it's just armor, but there's 4 pieces of armor, but you can't filter through. So there's headpiece, there's chest piece, arms, and legs, right? And you can't filter down to just only look at headpieces, only look at armor, or chest, only arms, only legs. It's just, there's all the armor. There you go. That's not to say that you can't, select your headgear and then look at headpieces, but if I'm looking in my inventory, you can't filter. And then navigating through some of the menus and then the inventory itself in general is kind of janky. Maybe I'm just a bad gamer. I don't know. I'm probably just a bad gamer. But let me know down in the comments below if you felt that the menu in the navigation through inventory and all that could have used some work too, if you agree with me or not. Because I got frustrated with it a lot throughout my time in playing the game. But if anything else comes up while I'm talking about the game that I didn't like too much, I'll make sure to mention it. But those are the main things. Those are the main things that really bothered me with this game. Now, let's talk about what I think makes this game special. And again, I give this game like a 7, a 7.5. However, I still love it. And that is because this game, in my opinion, is on par with FromSoft Souls games with level design, aesthetic, environments, some of the boss designs and monster designs is just absolutely incredible. And the whole two worlds with Axiom and Umbral, that's the name. Axiom is like the normal world, and then Umbral is like the really twisted, demonic, macabre style world. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool. And before we get too far, one other thing that I did not like so much, and this is another knock on it, is that the game reuses a lot of mobs, a lot of monster models. And in a lot of games, because a lot of games do that, they'll reuse models, but they make slight variations and slight tweaks to the models to indicate, oh, maybe this is like a different version, it's a little bit higher level, instead of their scarf being red, it's green or whatever. They look exactly the same in this game. You just have to kind of like, I'm in a new area, therefore these mobs must be stronger, even though they look exactly the same. So you kind of, but there's areas that kind of blend together, and then you're kind of, it kind of sucks. And bosses aside, the game does not really have a high variety of creatures and mobs. There's honestly probably less than 10 different creatures, maybe a little more than that, less than 20 for sure, but it's probably more like close to 10 in terms of like unique looking monsters in the game. Again, not counting bosses. Some people like this, some people don't. Also, the game reuses a lot of bosses. Like, you'll fight a boss, like, wow, this boss is unique, it's super cool, and then next now that creature type is just a regular mob throughout the game. That's generally with mini bosses. The game doesn't really differentiate between mini boss and like major boss, but you play through the game, you kind of know what's a mini boss versus a major boss. The game does a very good job with, I know I'm going all over the place, its progression. I think the game does, again, like I mentioned, the aesthetic, the environment, level design, all of that kind of stuff, the sound, all of that in this game is really, really top notch. It's honestly rivals that of FromSoft games. And the level progression, yes, it's very similar to any Souls game or whatever, but let's face it, any kind of RPG game, D&D uses strength, vitality, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. These are things that have existed in RPGs for, generations now, decades and decades. So it doesn't really, it's whatever. I think the game does it very well. The progression with weapons, it's very Souls-like in that of like you level up weapons. And what I really like in this game is that the more you upgrade your weapons, and you can do this with shields as well, because shields are kind of classified as weapons, you can unlock eventually in the game, minor spoiler, rune slots. So then you can start empowering your weapons with unique stats, which is really, really cool. I really enjoy that. Yeah, the game, it's fantastic in this regard. So yeah, Lords of the Fallen, if you are a fan of Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Elden Ring, I would definitely say this is a game you should absolutely check out. Now, if you're more of somebody who's like Lies of P, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Wolong, Neo, maybe not, because this is definitely very Dark Souls, Demon Souls Elden Ring a bit, more in that line. But if you can kind of look past a little bit of the jank, and there's more than a little, there's actually a lot. But if you can kind of look past it, look past the bad stuff, and then learn how to but if you can enjoy what's good, and what's good in this game is fantastic, you're gonna love this game. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Lords of the Fallen for the 2023 version, and I really hope that they make a second game and just kind of improve upon the janky stuff, and these guys can have a franchise that rivals that of Souls. Anyways, guys, I will see you guys on the next video. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below if I suck at doing this, if you want to hear more. If you agree with any of my comments or disagree, let me know.